Glad to have you here this morning. This is Tuesday, June 24th, and this is the Shoestring Marketing class. This, in this economy, it's hard to keep promoting yourselves as consistently as you'd like without breaking the bank. There's so many media options out there. There's some expensive and some that are practically free. Well, what's the best way to squeeze maximum return from your investment in marketing? Well, our next speaker is here today to tell us and sort it all out for us. He grew up in an entrepreneurial family, and so he understands the importance of squeezing maximum return from every dollar. He's the author of 4 books on small business sales and marketing. He speaks regularly to groups of small business owners and marketers. In fact, this is his 4th time at Bowl Expo. So he's welcomed back with big open arms. And this morning his program is titled after his popular book, Shoestring Marketing, which I think you'd agree after you go to this class here that the title says it all. So please help and welcome Larry Mersereau.
Thank you, Ron. I'm standing there, it's 8:30 sharp, and all of a sudden it starts going dark, and I said, what happened to my lights? And I'll tell you what I think happened. Next door they're doing laser tag, and I got a feeling we're on the same rheostat. And so they're darkening the room. So if the room goes dark, don't panic. It's not the end of the world. It's just laser tag. So thanks, Ron. Ron is an old radio guy, and it's always nice to have somebody that's got that radio voice to introduce you. I have kind of a radio voice today. This is not my normal voice. I picked up a cold last week. This has been a really busy travel month. When you're in airplanes, there's all those germs in that little tube, and you get them, and I got one now. So if I take a break in the middle, if all of a sudden my voice stops working, and reach to my bag for sprays and stuff like that, just bear with me. I'll be back with you as quickly as I can. I spoke at a program just 2 weeks ago, and the speaker before me lost his voice. It's one of the 2 greatest fears of public speaking. It just totally went away. The guy, and it was merciful that it did, because he was an economist, and there are a lot of economists that are really good speakers, but this particular one was scheduled for 30 minutes. He had 42 PowerPoint slides, and they were all charts and graphs, very detailed charts and graphs that nobody in the room understood except for him. And he quit after 20 minutes and 15 charts, and everybody in the room said, whew. By the way, the second greatest fear is finishing your program, and as you walk out, have somebody telling you, you realize you were unzipped that whole time. My assumption is that everybody in the room represents a fairly small business, meaning you don't have an unlimited marketing budget, and you probably have competitors in your market or in markets nearby that are trying to take away your business, and they have what seems to be where you're sitting as you watch them, unlimited budgets, because they spend a ton of money. You see them everywhere. They're on social media. You see them advertise on TV. They're in the local newspapers, and they do mailings, and they do all kinds of things to try to bring people in. And you're sitting there thinking, how the heck do they do that with the money that we make on bowling? How in the world do they come up with the cash to do that kind of thing? Well, I'm going to take you back to square one. The way that I got into this business, what got me started on this business, they said I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, and right out of school I went to work at the family business, so I was an SOB, son of the boss. Any other sons of bosses? Few? DOBs? Daughters? I had a special place in my heart for family businesses that go through generations. There was a fellow in a program last week that is 3rd generation, which made him a son of a boss. But I grew up in the family business, and big competition killed us. There were things that happened, and I'm not going to go into the story because I've told the story. I think I told it last year at Bowl Expo, and I don't want to spend your time telling a story that you may have already heard. But competition killed us, and it got to where we just couldn't stay in business anymore. We ended up selling what was left of the businesses. We had 3 different businesses, and I went to work for a national franchise company. And working for the national franchise company, it doesn't really matter what industry it was in, because it was the same thing. A franchise is where somebody buys a business, and the idea is the systems are all set up. All they got to do is go in and operate the business. And in fact, in our business, the premise was if you hire a qualified manager and they help you hire the kinds of people that they need, the business pretty much runs itself and takes care of itself. All you've got to do is just kind of keep an eye on it, do a little bit of leadership work, keep the team pushing the same direction. My job was traveling all over the country. I had franchisees all over the United States and Canada. Left home every Sunday afternoon, got on a flight to somewhere, got back late Friday night, and spent all day Saturday getting caught up with paperwork, take the kids to church Sunday morning, and do it again Sunday afternoon, 50 weeks a year. About 3 years of that, and one marriage lost was enough. But all of my work was with marketing. All of my work was with marketing. And we had two kinds of franchisees. We had the franchisees that were aggressively doing everything that they could to market themselves. It didn't matter how much money they were spending. What mattered was that they were aggressively doing everything that they could. And if everything that they could meant they got out of the office and walked down the street and knocked on doors and said, hey, I just want to make sure that you're aware of our business, we're here, and we'd appreciate it if you come visit us. Here's a business card, bring it in, it's good for $5 off or good for a free something. But if that's all they did, at least they were doing something. And then we had the people that we called aggressively waiting for the phone to ring. and it's a term I still use in sales when I do sales work. Aggressively waiting for the phone to ring. They're thinking I put out a sign, I do a little bit of advertising, I'm in the yellow pages. Back in that day, it was the yellow pages was really important to business. All I got to do is do that stuff, and the phone will ring, and the money will come in, life will be good, and my retirement plan is running. But here's what was wrong with most of them. They had no plan at all. They had no idea what they were doing with their marketing. It was totally uncoordinated, totally disjointed. They went and did whatever felt right today or whatever they had time for today. And as the business started to fail, they'd have somebody quit and not replace them because they think, I've been doing this long enough, I can do that job now. So now they're doing what's a little bit better than a minimum wage job, and they're spending all their time doing that, and they're not doing anything to grow the business. And it's a real common cycle. After I left the franchise company, I did considerable consulting with a lot of small businesses and a lot of industries, and I saw it in a lot of industries. When you own the business and things start to slip away, you do everything you can to cut back on personnel and all that stuff, when what really needs to happen is you need to go out and grow the business. So Shoestring Marketing is about helping you do that. I want to have you go out and grow the business. I want you to go out and do it right, be coordinated, be sensible about it. So let me give you, by the way, in the company, as we realized that these people were functioning without any kind of a plan at all, they were just kind of floating along, we decided we're going to put together a seminar where they can come together with a group of other franchisees and prepare a marketing plan. And we also put a budget with it. We did everything on computers, which this is, golly, over 20 years ago now, which was pretty darn sophisticated at the time. We had their budget completely on computers. We had their marketing plan. And I'm going to tell you the five building blocks of marketing that we used. I mentioned the Economist that had all the slides with all the charts and all the information. I don't do that stuff. I'm a simple guy, and I like to keep things simple because I find if it's simple, you can clearly understand it, you can go back and do it, and it will make a bit difference in your business. And everything's got to start with a plan. Now, this is not going to be complicated, but on a piece of paper, if you're taking notes, we're going to have 5 building blocks. There's going to be 2 on the bottom, 2 sitting on top of those, and then 1 in the center on the top. Okay, so if you're drawing, if you want to do the artwork, you can draw the boxes. I usually do this on a flip chart, but then I'd have to hold the flip chart up and turn around for everybody in this room. It's a great room. I love it. But kind of limits things a little bit. So anyway, the bottom two building blocks: market research, product development. Those are the 2 bottom building blocks. Now, when we say market research, already some of you, your eyes are glazing over. You're thinking, oh, market research, great. I'm going to have to hire an economist. One of those guys with all the graphs and charts. Market research doesn't have to be complicated. Market research is just about understanding a couple of important things. Number one, your first market research is sit down in your bowling center and look at who's there. You have a core customer group that are your regular, steady, dependable. They're the ones that are always going to be there. They're the ones that are happy there. They love you. Everything about them, with them, life is good. That is the beginning of your market research. We want to start with those people. We want to make sure that when we get into marketing and promotion, when we get into the part where we're going out and reaching out to them, we want to make sure that we're reaching out to them very clearly and to more people just like them. Now, you're also going to have peripheral groups. But let's get started with just one group. Let's just start with one core group and start from there, and we'll work our way out. The hard part about marketing is getting focused. Most people have a very hard time getting focused. Well, okay, yeah, well, we got this group of people. They're already in leagues, and I think we've got everybody in our town that's ever going to be in a league, and we don't have to market to them because they come to us every year. They just can't wait. Yeah, you do have to market to them. And yeah, there are people like them in your market and not far from you. I have no idea what's happening with the computer. But for the most part, my visuals are not that big a deal. Oh, my. We'll see. Okay. If you know what, if this totally goes down, it doesn't matter. I will give you stuff you can use. I promise simple, doable, effective. I'll do it with or without pictures. It doesn't matter. My slides are not that important. By the way, I forgot to mention there is a handout on the app, on the BPAA app, the Expo app. There is a handout for this session. It's just one page. If you want to go to that, there's some things in there that I'm going to talk about, but it's not important. So if you're not an app person, which I'm not, I'm old school, so don't worry about it. But if you want to follow along there. Okay, market research. We were market research. Market research is, let's first get focused on one core group and start marketing to them. And then let's look at what are the other groups that we could add to. Now, for the core group in your bowling center, I suspect it's probably not a whole lot different one to the other in different locations. Let's identify, first of all, tell me as a general rule, are they male or female? Louder, I can't hear you. Primarily male? Okay, now I'm talking about things that are, even if it's 51, 55%, if it's more male than female, let's start with that. My approach to marketing is, let's start with things that are true most of the time. If something is true most of the time, that's where I want to put my first effort, okay? So, more than not, it's male. Are they age group 25 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70, whereabout? This is not how life should be. I'm sorry. Okay, so depending on your particular situation, I want to identify who's that core group. They're mostly male. Do they mostly bowl during the day or at night? At night. What more could we identify about them? We could identify family status. Are they likely to be married or not? More married or more not? More married? Okay? If your situation is different, if your target market, if the people that are there regularly are single guys, 25 to 40, that's great. The important thing is you need to know where they are. That is your starting point for marketing. And then we could add, do you have women's groups? Do you have women's leagues? Do you have family leagues? Do you have kids leagues? Do you have different things that you promote during the week? What are the things that we promote? And the real key is to identify who is our target customer, who do we want to talk to, what are things that matter to them. Why do they bowl? For fun? Any for exercise? Any for the competition? Any for the camaraderie of being part of a group? There's all kinds of reasons why people might bowl. But we want to know for our target customer, why do you come here? What is it that brings you back here over and over again? If it's the competitive nature, then when we're talking in marketing communications, we want to talk about competition. The thrill of competition. Go head to head with other people in your own class, in your own handicap range. So that you're, good heavens, you're getting a light show here. It's like the laser lights. But We want to know who our target customer is, what matters to them. Now, the other side of market research is competitors. And when I say competitors, I don't mean just other bowling centers. What other entertainment options are you head-to-head with? When somebody makes the decision, I'm going to join a league, or I'm going to go bowling on Saturday, or whatever it is, what are the other options in your market? This is a real important part of market research because you need to position yourself against those options. What other options do they have? If I want to go bowling Saturday night, what other things might I consider? Casino gambling. Movies. Go out dancing. Then I'm still getting exercise. There's all kinds of things. In your market, what are the other options that they're likely to consider? And when we talk about marketing, we want to position ourselves as a different, better option than the other things that are out there. I like to ask the question, why would I choose you? Out of all the other options that I've got, what makes you so special? I mean, there are other things I could do that are less expensive. There are other things I can do that are less strenuous. There are things I could do that would take less time to do it and still have a good time. Why would I choose you? I want everybody to turn to a partner and give your partner 3 reasons why. And if you're sitting here with somebody that you work with, turn the other direction. Talk to another partner. Give them 3 reasons why your bowling center is a better option than the other ones that just came into your head when I was talking about other options. 3 reasons, real quick. Okay, who had 3 good reasons? Anybody have 3 good reasons? Okay, somebody in back here has their hand up. What are your 3 good reasons?
Fun.
Fun?
Family-oriented.
Family-oriented. And affordable. Fun, family-oriented, affordable. What else? Yes, sir.
We'll go with customer service.
Customer service.
Provide better customer service than other options in the area. We have, and we're local, so they don't have to travel very far.
Local, convenient.
We have other options for them to do for the whole family.
So there's more to do there than just bowl.
Right.
Okay? Anybody else? Anything different? Yes, sir.
We have a real top-of-the-line facility, nice, clean bathrooms.
Top-of-the-line facility, clean bathrooms.
So just the facility. Good beer prices.
Good beer prices. I want to just for a second talk about clean bathrooms. I told you I work with a lot of different businesses, and it is amazing how much people judge you by the cleanliness of your bathrooms. It is, people walk in, and when a place has a disgusting bathroom, they don't want anything to do with anything else. They sure aren't in the mood to go order food and beverage. So that clean bathroom, you know, one company that a lot of people talk about a success in franchising. I didn't work for McDonald's, but one of the things in the franchise business that I learned about McDonald's, do you know that McDonald's spent millions of dollars identifying the exact right flooring to use in their bathrooms? McDonald's has a policy, every hour the restaurant is open, somebody goes in and cleans the bathroom and mops the floor, including a complete mopping the floor. And they found out in the early days that when they did that, whatever flooring materials they used got ruined after being mopped every hour. Imagine mopping your floor every hour for a couple of years, what it would do to normal flooring surfaces. Plus, if the floor was left wet, they had problems with people slipping. And of course, if you slip in McDonald's, you're going to sue. I mean, if you spill your own coffee in your lap, you sue. So if you fall on the floor, surely you're going to sue. So they spent a lot of money trying to find out just the right thing. But that clean bathroom is important. I used to live in Louisiana. I've lived in a lot of different places, and it's not the witness protection program. It's my wife had a job that had us moving around the country. And when we lived in Louisiana, I remember one time the governor was on TV, and he said, "It drives me nuts that when I drive across I-10, across southern Mississippi and through Louisiana," he said, "we have to stop in Mississippi to use a bathroom, a roadside rest area, because before we get into Louisiana, because Louisiana's roadside rest areas are so bad, we got to go to McDonald's." You know what? I've discovered something. There's a spot that if I stand on it, I'm not going to tempt fate. In fact, I'm just going to stay down here. It seemed to be fine while I was down here, right? I'm not going to. But anyway, why am I different? The other options that are out there. In the handout, if you've got the app, the handout is app friendly. I've got it in little boxes, and I've got a list of some of the things that you might use to be different. But the more they are your own individual idea, the own thing that makes your business different from everybody else and unique, the better it is. So why am I different is an important thing. Who's my target customer? What's important to them? Why do they come? And then why should they choose us? Why are we different from all the other options, and what makes us a better option than the other things that they might choose? Those are all important items that we need to work with. Some of the things I listed here: customer service, convenience, food, beverage, familiarity and trust, the staff and relationship, availability, wait time, league options, equipment, the facility, BPAA education. By being here, you are giving yourselves an unfair competitive advantage over the people that don't come to this. Not everybody belongs to BPAA, and there are a lot of people that do, but they don't bother to come to the expo, and they don't bother to use the education opportunities that are there. Taking advantage of this is giving yourself an unfair competitive advantage, and it's something that you want to keep doing over and over again. There is so much here for you to learn to operate your business effectively, and the expo, of course, any product and service that you need is there. Package options, value, instruction, choices, unique products, process or method of doing things, price. Some people lower beer prices. If that brings them in and you can still make a profit, go for it. Awards, recognitions, parties, meetings. Now we can go through that with all the different groups we list. If we started with middle-aged married men, then we talk about what are the things in there that are important to them. How many of you book corporate or association meeting groups? Do you ever have meetings in your center? If you have meetings in your center, now that's a totally different demographic, right? Now we're talking to a meeting planner, right? And the meeting planner is making the entertainment decision for 20, 40, however many people. So their priorities are totally different. They're not there to compete. They're not there to get exercise. They're not there for cheap beer. They're there to make sure that their group has a good time, has a unique experience, and that they're going to look good. So now when we're talking to them, the priorities are totally different. If you are marketing to those people, make sure that your marketing materials talk more about how successful their event is going to be, how easy it's going to be for them to run the event, how they're going to be a hero, because that's what matters to them. Whoever we're talking to in any marketing communication, the most important thing is what matters to them. Okay, so we've got market research. The next box was product development. Product development is, now we know who our customer is, we know what it is that we're trying to provide to them in terms of an experience, in terms of differentiation. Now our product line is going to be all about making that happen. Most of us, our product line just kind of happened. We came to Bowl Expo and we saw something, we said, we ought to be carrying that in the pro shop, right? Or, what a great idea to do, say, laser tag. Or what a great idea to, and we bring it in for no particular reason except it looked exciting to us, instead of thinking, when you're at the expo, what does my target market want? What would be an enhancement to my product line that would be a winner with the people who come here now, or the people that I'm trying to bring in here now? We've all got a core constituency. We've all got people that come to us regularly anyway. When we have those people and we're trying to expand the market, we want to be thinking, am I adding new products just to bring in the new people? And what if I add the new products and it doesn't bring the new people in? I want to make sure that my core constituency is going to want those products too, or those services, or those activities, or whatever it is. If I want to be like Chuck E. Cheese with lanes, I got to make sense out of what are the things that I'm going to bring in, and who is that going to bring in. By the way, another thing that I've seen happen with businesses is they've got a core constituency that's loyal and loves them, and they make a whole lot of changes to add to their product line to bring in a new target demographic, and that new demographic overruns the place, and the core constituency starts looking for a new place to go. So be very careful with product development. The next two boxes are pricing and distribution. Now, distribution, pricing speaks for itself. Pricing is what level do I have to be to be in the ballpark for my target customers so that they're not going to feel like I'm trying to cheat them, but that I can be profitable. We want to do that. When we're looking at pricing, we have to look at the competition, and we have to look at our bottom line. We have to do a little bit of an analysis. If I'm going to charge this much, how many of these products do I have to sell? Do I have enough of those people in my market? We're back down to the market research, but we want to make sure that our pricing is in the ballpark and makes sense. Who sets the benchmark for pricing in your market? Have you ever given it thought? Is there a competitor in your market that dominates the market and you've got to kind of be a challenger? In a lot of markets that's the case. Maybe you are the one that dominates the market and everybody else has to answer to you. There's generally somebody who their price is the benchmark that everybody else has to work around. If you're going to be cheaper than them, because you want to attract people by saying we have a lower price, then you better be able to have a good reason how you can do that and still be profitable. You can get into price wars and lose money really fast just trying to have a lower price. Or maybe you want to be a higher price. Maybe you want to be a boutique. Maybe you want to be specialized. Maybe you want to be something that's unique for people that they would be willing to pay more for. But pricing is very important. Getting them there the first time, price is not usually it. I'm going to show you some things in a few minutes. We're going to look at specific language in marketing communications and where to put it and all that kind of thing. But this plan is the basis for it. Distribution is how will they do business with us. In 90% of the cases in the room, it is they will come to us, right? They will come to our bowling center and everything is going to happen at our facility. So that's fairly simple. Now look at all the businesses. Do any of you have portable lanes you can set up somewhere? Anybody? A few? That's a distribution issue. If we have groups that we can come to them and set up lanes on any gym floor or any flat concrete floor or whatever, that gives us a distribution advantage. That is a differentiation point. You don't necessarily have to come to the bowling center. We can set this right up in your facility, your auditorium. Well, it wasn't because I was standing on a spot. Okay, the very top one, the last piece of the whole puzzle is promotion. The mistake that most small businesses make is they jump right into promotion without giving any thought to these other four things. Real important that you think those things out. Now we can look at, we've identified a target customer, maybe several different target customer groups. When we look at media selection, what media are those people going to see us in? Where do we need to be for them to find us? If we're looking at, now one group said our core people are males 25 to 40. Would you catch them in the local newspaper? No. 25 to 40-year-old people don't read newspapers. Now if you're after me, if you're in the 50 to 70 range, I'm somewhere in there. If you're in the 50 to 70 range, we still read newspapers. So you can catch me in the newspaper. There's a whole list of media in the handout as well. And whatever you're going to do, I urge you to have a mix of the media. I urge you to have a mix. Don't try to rely on just one thing. Social media is the hot darling right now. Undoubtedly, there are sessions at this event strictly on social media. Am I right? I mean, I just got here late last night and I've been nursing a cold instead of going to sessions. But there is a session on social media at every event, and I tell you, every business I go to, that's the way it is, and it is the most crowded session at the whole place. Because that's the darling right now. Why is that? Is it free? Is social media free? Does anybody have to spend some time doing it? If you have to spend some time doing it, it's not free. You need to figure out, if you're going to do social media, you need to know the number of hours that are being spent on it and what is my value per hour. And if your value per hour is higher than somebody, if you got young people that are not paid, that are paid $10, $15 an hour range, that are social media junkies, they could possibly be golden for you. But you're still paying $10, $15 an hour. So you need to keep track how many hours are going into this, what kind of return are we getting. In my introduction, Ron said he grew up in an entrepreneurial family, so he knows the importance of getting maximum return from your marketing dollars. Any time or money that I spend on marketing, I want to see a return on the investment. And the most difficult thing about social media is it's very difficult to measure that. Because you're thinking, okay, well, I'm on all these different places. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Facebook, and all these different places. And people are coming to find me. And some people like me. And the more people that like me, I'm thinking, well, that's measurable. If I can get a whole lot of likes, then I'm really popular and things are going really great. But if that's not putting money in the cash register, it doesn't do me any good. I want to see return on the investment. Now, I am one that had to be dragged kicking and screaming into social media. Those of you who are thinking, well, he can just skip right past this social media bit because I'm not doing it. And I know there are people in the room that are thinking that, because when I went to all these things that the room were full of people, I went, this is crazy. Who cares what everybody had for lunch and all the other things that people put on? So I don't want any part of that. That's not marketing. That's playing, wasting your time during the day. It's not going away. There are people out there that still think this internet thing is never going to catch on. At some point you have to realize the overwhelming majority of businesses are now marketing on social media. And if you're not there, you're just not in the game. Where else are you going to be? You've got to be in other media, I agree. If television works for you, if that fits the demographic of the target customer you've identified, use television. If radio works, use radio. If newspaper, if direct mail, whatever it is. But if you didn't do that hard work at the beginning and figure out who is our target customer, what's important to them, where are they, who are they, how do I find them, then you're not going to be able to reach them. Your target market, if they're 50 to 70, believe it or not, that is the fastest growing group on social media. And I'm on social media now because I kind of felt like a couple of years ago I better get into this and learn a little something about it. And all the people I graduated from high school are with this. We have a high school class reunion this summer, and it's all being planned entirely on social media. They used to have to do direct mail and pick up the phone and call people and stuff like that. Now it's on social media, and they say, here are all the names we're missing. If you know them, send them a message and have them sign up on the website. And it'll probably be the biggest class reunion we've ever had, just because we're able to reach so many people all over the country, and in fact, if we have to, all over the world. It is not going away. I thought, okay, it's a passing fad. People are going to get sick of writing about what they had for lunch. This was a survey that was done. It was in USA Today just about a month ago. They asked people, what would you be willing to give up for 6 months to stop doing social media? What would you be willing to give up for 6 months? Here's how addicted people are. 14% said they'd give up coffee. 7% said, forget it, I'd just give up social media. I'm only 7%. 6% came up with something else. 31% said they'd quit drinking before they'd quit getting on social media. And 42% sex. It is not going away. This is something that everybody is going to stay in. I mentioned, people tend to think that likes are how we measure success in social media. Yes, likes are a good thing, but we want to be doing things that make people communicate with us. The most important word in social media is engagement. Now, engagement is also possible in other media. I am still a huge believer in direct mail. How many use direct mail in any form? Direct mail to me is still, I like it the best of all the media. There, stand still. No. I like direct mail the best of all the media. And my favorite form of direct mail is postcards. They're simple, they're inexpensive, you can mail regularly and keep in touch. People don't have to dig through an envelope to get your message. They don't have to give it a lot of thought. And we're going to, in a few minutes, we're going to go through my magic formula for persuasion. It works in any media, in social media, and in direct mail, newspaper, whatever. It's something I came up with years ago when I was in the franchise business, and I've used it with businesses all over the country, and it works. It's simple, it's doable, and it's effective, and we'll apply it to a postcard. And we'll check your powers of observation while we're doing it as well. I believe, and in my magic formula, when we get to that, there's a word called proposition. Proposition is how you engage people monetarily. Engagement is, when I send something out, I want people to respond. I want people to come back. I don't want to just be sending one-way messages. Marketing has changed in that it used to be we sent out messages trying to interrupt people that were minding their own business. Right? I mean, they're reading the newspaper. Why do people read a newspaper? Do you think they're looking for your ad? They're reading the newspaper because they want the news. So they're reading the newspaper, and all of a sudden this ad says, hey you, why don't you go bowling Saturday night? That was the way marketing always was. It was about interrupting something else that somebody was doing. Television. Anybody else irritated when a TV commercial comes on and it's much louder than the program was? That's interruption. That's classic interruption marketing. They do that because they know that you will stop and pay attention. Now, to me, I get irritated, and it's put them on my list of people I'll never buy anything from. But that's why they do it. It's interruption marketing. Marketing now is people come to find you. That's a sound I've never heard. Marketing now is people come looking for you. Now, just like when they're reading the newspaper, they're not looking for your ad. When they're online, they're not looking for you specifically. They're looking for entertainment options, for some of you dining options. And if you pop up as one of the possibilities, then they found you. You didn't interrupt them. And that is the total turnaround about marketing right now. So marketing right now in social media and online is about making yourself findable, about putting yourself where your target customer could come across you and inviting them to engage so that it's not just a matter of, here I am, they looked at me and they went away. When I say here I am, when they come to my website or to my social media page, I want them to comment, or I want them to ask me a question, or I want to do an exchange, or I want to offer them something. I want to, at the very least, say, sign up for my Facebook page, and I'll give you something. By the way, recent research has said that this is the second least valuable reason why people sign up for a Facebook page, is that they were bribed, that they were offered something. So this as a tactic is not necessarily, by the way, the number one reason that they think, or the very last reason why they would do it, is celebrity endorsement. People are no longer impressed by celebrity endorsement because they know the celebrity is being paid to do it, that it's not, with the exception of charities. But we're profit-making businesses. Celebrity endorsements and bribes. But at least do something. I want to have you interact with me. That particular one was an email. That was one that came in email, and that came in email asking you to go to Facebook. Facebook should ask them to go to your website. Your website should be the mothership for everything that you're doing. And here's an important thing that I really believe businesses have to give some thought to. How many of you have ever posted a video on YouTube? Not very many. What's the first thing that happens when you post a video on YouTube? What happens when you post a video on YouTube? They convert it to their proprietary format. Your video suddenly is in YouTube's proprietary format, which means you just gave up control of that video. So if YouTube and Facebook are places where you want that to be gathering point central for all of your fans or your customers or your prospects, if that's going to be the gathering point, you have to understand that if all of a sudden Facebook wants to change the rules, or all of a sudden YouTube wants to change the rules, there's a black slide up right now.
I was told.
Oh yeah, it's been fooling around. It's been messing around. Well, it wasn't a blue slide. It was a black slide. Where was I? Oh, yes. The bottom line is you want to build your community on your land. You would never build a house on rented land. And you surely wouldn't build a house on land that people are giving you for free, because you got to know that someday those people are going to say, well, now that you've got that house here, it's time to start paying rent. If someday YouTube decides the only way you're going to have access to your videos that you put up there so carefully is people are going to have to pay by the minute to view them, or you're going to have to pay by the minute every time somebody views them. Facebook can say that whole list of friends that you've got, there's no way to back it up, is there? They got it. They got it, and they got all the information about it, and if all of a sudden they decide, you know what, we're not going to make this a free public site anymore. If you want access to that list, you're going to pay X dollars per name or whatever. And don't think it can't happen, because it's happened in other industries. It's happened in other business. Anytime that you're on somebody else's land, they can start charging for it. They can totally change the rules, and things will be happening different. So we want to get people engaged so that there's a two-way conversation, but we want to work them towards our website. And we want our website to be the mothership where they do things. Now, in your social media seminar, they may or may not tell you that. I don't know what's coming in your social media seminar. A lot of people are totally comfortable with the idea of letting Mark Zuckerberg have control of all their data. I'm not. I want people coming to my site, not on somebody else's turf that they could pull it out from under me any minute. Let's look at why people buy. When we talked about differentiation points, why are we different? What is it that makes people buy and choose us from all the other options? This is based on shopping. This is based on retail buying. But retail buying isn't a whole lot different from buying entertainment. They're still spending their hard-earned dollars in exchange for something that they want or need, but they're spending their hard-earned dollars with something that they want. They broke this down into all these different kinds of people, and these are kind of interesting, because when you're dealing with social media, at the top of the food chain is deal-seeking influentials. Have you heard the term influentials or influencers? On social media, they're always saying you want the influencers to find you, and then they will tell all their friends. That's what influencers are. They spread the word. They tell everybody all about it. Deal-seeking influentials are the ones that are obsessed with going out and finding the best deals that there are out there, and then they want to be heroes to all their friends and tell them, hey, look what I found. Those are the deal-seeking influentials. The offline deal seekers do that, but only in physical stores or in physical businesses. They don't do it on the internet. Deal thrillers get excited when they find a deal. They're looking for a lower price. They're looking for a better deal, and it gets them all jeeped up when they find it. Deal takers are, I'll take it. If I find a deal, that's good, but I'm not going to break my neck trying to find it. Deal indifference are people that just don't care. It's just, I'm going to buy it either way. If I get a deal, that's fine, but I'm not looking for it. I'm not out for it. And then the deal rejectors are the people that say, I'm not buying that. If it's that cheap, then it should have been cheap to begin with. So you know stores that have the policy of always offering a deal. One of the stores that the jacket that I'm wearing, I just noticed it this morning. I wasn't thinking of it. The jacket that I'm wearing came from Joseph A. Bank. Any of you have Joseph A. Bank advertised in your area? Would you ever pay retail for anything at Joseph A. Bank? I mean, really. Every week, there are 2 different sales every week. And one of them is buy one, get 3 free. Or buy one, get 1 free. Everything in the store 70% off and stuff like that. They're always offering a deal. Another store is Kohl's, K-O-H-L-S. Do you have Kohl's in your market? Would you ever buy anything retail at Kohl's? There's always a 20% off coupon or something. There are stores like that their whole way of marketing themselves is on a deal. You don't want to fall into the trap of just constantly offering deals. How many of you have tried Groupon, or we've got Deal Chicken, or how many of you have tried that? Tell me honestly, did you like it? Was it a good experience?
I liked it. I liked it for this time of the year, for the summer.
Okay.
Fall, I don't play.
Okay, so for seasonal pricing to bring people in when the place is dead, it's at least we can pay the staff. Good experience? Yes? Good experience? Good experience? If you're going to use Groupon, and I just use that name, there are other ones that you offer a deal and you get very little compared to what you would normally get for what you're selling. If you do that, here's a real important key. When those people buy, we need to engage them. That means I get my car detailed every year. I'm one of those people that holds on to a car 10, 12 years. I get my car detailed every year, and I always go to the same place because they always do a Groupon in the spring. and it's less than half price for detailing. I've never paid full price for detailing because they're going to be there every spring. They have never done anything to engage me after the sale. I mean, I've gone to the same place for several years, and they have never contacted me after the sale. Was that a positive experience? Would you ever consider about bringing your vehicle in here to be serviced? Next time you buy a vehicle, would you like to look at one of our vehicles? They happen to be a car dealer. Well, one of the things that we want to do when we bring people in for the first time, we want to make sure that we're doing something to make sure that we bring them in for a next time. And then that next time, we want to bring them in for the next time. The most expensive customer there is to get is the first-time buyer. The first time somebody buys is the most difficult, the most expensive thing that you do. Once you've gotten them in there, if they have a good experience, if they're happy, if they like you, it should be a real simple thing to get them to come back. But it doesn't happen by just, well, we just showed them a good time, we'll just aggressively wait for the phone to ring. It doesn't work. We got to make sure that we engage them afterwards. So when they're there, if it was on Groupon, now we've got their email address, so we can email back to them, and we can say, like us on Facebook, come in, send them a coupon for something, do something that ask them, if you had a good time, please tell your friends, comment here, like us. Do something that engages them and gets them to interact with you, and then stay in touch so that we get the next piece of business and the next piece of business. It's the most important, expensive thing is to get a new customer for the first time. And it costs like maybe 12% as much to get them to come back for a second time. The best source for new business is somebody that's already done business with you before. You know that with your leagues. You know that they're the easiest people to sell to. They're happy with you. They love you. They're going to keep coming back. The reason that I showed you these things, look at the 100% thing that everybody agreed on. The most important thing is the environment. Now, the environment includes not just your facility and your equipment. The environment includes the people, the experience that they have, how friendly your people are, how much they are engaged when they are in your place. Instead of just handing them the shoes and the ball rack is over here. You know what? That quadrant is really sensitive. That might have been enough to set that off. Everything about your place is important to them, and including the clean restrooms. The other things that people think of, convenience, yes, important. Price, yes, important. Service, yes, important. But that overall environment, what was it like to be there? The experience of being part of you. And then one more thing along that line, why people leave. I told you some people get crowded out by the new business that you bring in. The reason people leave a business, what do you think is the number one reason people who have come there for a while and decide I'm not going back, what do you think is the number one reason?
Rudeness or lack of indifference from an employee.
You've seen these. You've seen these numbers. These are old numbers from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. 14% are unhappy with the product or service. Now, when this says service, they mean an actual service item, not the employee service, product/service. They didn't like the quality of the lanes. They didn't like whatever it was. 9% went to competitor, decided I'm going somewhere else. So you're not losing as much to the competitor as you think you are. 5% are looking for something else. By alternatives, they mean something other than bowling. I've grown tired of bowling. Bowling is as much fun as it used to be. My knees aren't as good as they used to be. Whatever it is, arthritis is making it hard for me to hold a ball now. But they go find something other than bowling. 3% move away. 1% die. They're not coming back. The biggie was what the gentleman said. They leave because they were treated indifferently. Not lousy service, not they hated the experience that they had, but the people there just acted like they didn't care and it was no big deal to them. That means that your people have to be trained in how important it is to engage customers, make it a positive experience for them, and entertain them like your hosts and they are guests. Make it a fun experience for them. The new trend in social media, I mentioned the change in marketing. It's no longer interruption marketing. It's no longer about us finding them, interrupting what they have going in their day, and trying to grab their attention. It's about them finding us. The big word in marketing now is content. Content is things that you put on your website, on YouTube, on Facebook, whatever, that is the kind of information or the kind of entertainment ideas or the kind of options, the kinds of things that they're looking for, the things that they're searching for online. Now, let me give you an example of something that pulled me in. My passion is music. I wanted to be, all I wanted to be was a drummer. That's all I ever wanted to be in my life. And it made it really hard for educators because I don't need this. I'm going to be a rock star. Why should I care about algebra? I'm going to be a rock star. I don't need that stuff. This is me just last summer. So you see I'm still passionate about it. I still play. Looking very serious in that picture. But anyway, 2 years ago I decided to buy a set of drums. I told you my wife and I lived around the country. And I decided I was going to buy a set of drums because I sold my old drums when we started moving around the country because we were going to be living in apartments and townhomes and stuff, and there was just no need to drag it around. So a couple of years ago I decided it's time to get back into it, buy a set of drums. If I'm looking for a set of drums, what kinds of things am I going to search for? Price? Brand? Dollars? Oh, knowledge, I'm sorry. Quality. I had one thing in mind. I had one thing. Well, actually, it's a two-part one thing. I wanted the best possible sound within my budget. In a musical instrument, the most important issue for anybody that's buying a musical instrument is sound. So sound was the most important thing to me, but I couldn't afford a $10,000 set of drums. And the professional level drums now are $10,000. You can spend $15,000 real easily. You can have them handmade for $20,000, $25,000 if that's what you want to do. I'm thinking under $1,000. So I want to find something that is going to have good sound, and it took a lot of effort to find it. I found a little drum shop in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Anybody happen to be from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania? Little drum shop there that was regularly posting information about how drums are made, how the sound happens, where it comes from, how different brands make their drums. And I went and I read all kinds of things about how the different brands build their... I don't know what's going on. The computer gods are just not with me today. What can I say? It must be the cold. But I found that there were all kinds of different woods. There were all kinds of different things, a lot different than drums were made 20 years ago because technology has changed the way that they built drums. And I ended up finding drums that were made in the same factory as a much more expensive one. They use the same shells but less expensive hardware. The sound is the same when you put the new heads. I bought new heads to match the heads that were on the more expensive set, and I've got like a $3,000 set for $1,000, only the hardware isn't quite as fancy. That was my number one thing, was sound. If somebody is searching for information about bowling, the kind of people that would be your core customer, what kinds of things would they be looking for? Cleanliness? What would they look for online? If they're searching online and they want to know about bowling options, what would they look for? specials, location, lane availability. Do any of you have an app? A smartphone app? We're in an age right now where it came home to me the other night. I'm sitting in my living room and my wife is sitting on the sofa. We have the TV on. She has a tablet that she's playing a game of solitaire on, and in the other hand she's got her phone and she's looking at Facebook. And I looked over, I thought, I need a picture of this to show my audiences so that because they won't believe me. She said, don't you dare take a picture of me this hour of night. But that's where people are now. They're called personal devices. It's personal devices. They've got all the years that we went with bigger and bigger TVs. Every year we bought bigger flat screen TVs, right? Now everybody gets most of their information from a little tiny thing that fits in your pocket. But that's where people are. And now when people are out and about looking for entertainment and dining options, that's where they're looking for information. You don't necessarily have to have an app, but you have to be where they can find you. They're looking at TripAdvisor, they're looking at Yelp, they're looking at local websites that put things on your smartphone so that they can find you. You've got to look at, if you want a younger demographic, and that demographic's getting older. I was on vacation last week with my family for a few days, and we're looking for restaurants on our smartphone while we're driving around in the car. And by the way, it starts with closest to you based on the GPS where you are right now. Where are the closest restaurants? And you can set price range, you can ask for type of food, you can ask for family or not family, you can do all kinds of things like that. You need to understand that that's how people are searching for their entertainment options now. So content is not just about giving instruction, which, by the way, I would encourage you to consider. If you've got an instructor that's good, that doesn't mind working on camera, on-camera instruction is a great way to reach enthusiasts. And it's got to be free. That's hard to bite on sometimes. The content that you put out there to get people enticed, to get them to engage, has got to be free. I'm showing you Jared Falk up here. The reason Jared is up there, as I was searching for drums, I came across Jared Falk. He has, golly, over 1,000 YouTube videos. And within the last year, he started moving all of his stuff onto his website. But the YouTube videos are all free. You can look up Jared Falk drum lessons, and you can get thousands of drum lessons absolutely free from this guy who is an incredible instructor. But if you want to get a regular systematic set of lessons, like, you can get free bowling lessons, and you might learn a couple of tips here and there. He's got a situation where you set up a camera in your studio or your basement or wherever you've got your equipment set up, and he gives you the assignment, you work for it on a week, and then he's with you on Skype, and you play it for him, and he goes over it with you just like face-to-face instruction. But you got this guy that is like drum instructor to the stars. The guy is amazing. That's not free. But you find the free stuff on YouTube, and you get interested on YouTube, and you say, I want to take this to the next step. And so you go to his website, and there are like 3 different levels you can sign up to at his website. First is a free membership. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's available for the free membership, most of it basic stuff. And then there's a more intermediate, and then the very top membership is where you're one-on-one with him by video. So there's several different price options. But the content is what gets you to him in the first place. He could have set up the website and said, hey, we got great drum lessons, and the first thing that you get there, you have to pay to get to it. That's not going to bring people in. They want to see the free instruction. Maybe you can do a video of how a bowling ball is constructed. Maybe you could do a video on the difference between several different bowling balls in your pro shop. You got different price ranges of bowling balls. To the average person that isn't a bowler, why? What's the difference? It's round, it's got 3 holes in it, it rolls. Maybe it weighs more, weighs less. What's the difference? Why would I spend the extra money? That's the kind of video that you can do that demonstrates your expertise, shows you as the place that they want to come to get the advice, and gives the advice, And it's knowledge that you have. It's not something that you got to work hard to do it. It would be real easy to put that video together. And I'm going to show you a couple of Jared's videos, if the computer gods are with me, because I want to show you one of his older videos. What holds a lot of people back is they're afraid my video quality isn't going to be very good. I don't have good equipment. I don't have a studio and all that stuff. Your video... How many of you get on YouTube and look at videos, or get on Facebook and play videos that you see on Facebook? Does it have to be high quality video to get your attention? Some of the videos that have gone most viral, meaning people passed them on and everybody saw it, are horrible video quality, but the content is what people are looking for. So don't be held back because you don't have a studio and that kind of stuff. It's not necessary. This is his web page. This is his home page now that brings you in. This was on Facebook. They just broke 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. This is their YouTube channel. And you can see all kinds of videos. He's got videos on all kinds of stuff. He's got a lot of videos on a breakdown of how a song is played. How many of you are musicians, hobby musicians? Nobody? A few? A few? You ever hear a song that you'd like to learn how to play it, but you just can't quite figure out? He does these breakdowns where he puts it in sheet music, he demonstrates it, he shows you every stroke so that he breaks it down for you so you can learn how to play. He's got a bunch of those on YouTube. This is his blog. He also has a blog. Now when you look at that list of media that I've got on the handout, a great way to engage people is by blog. Blog is where you put out a piece of information, invite people to comment or ask you questions, then you reply. It is not hard to add a blog to your own website. A blog on your website is not a difficult thing to add. But here's the thing about content. If you're going to have a blog, you've got to make it a commitment that you're going to be there regularly. When you have a blog, it's kind of like you're going into the publishing business. Could you imagine if you subscribed to a free magazine and they sent you 2 or 3 magazines in the first few months and then they quit coming? That's what most people do with blogs. There was a percentage, and I can't remember the number, it was like 70-some%. By the way, keep in mind that 78% of statistics quoted by speakers are made up. 78%. It was a huge number. 70-some% of blogs out there have fewer than 5 blog posts. That means somebody came to a seminar and they got all excited. We're going to go do a blog and we're going to start this engagement with our customers. And they posted 5 things and then they kind of drifted off and got busy. Something happened and it didn't happen anymore. If you're going to do a blog, you need to do what publishers do, which is have an editorial calendar. An editorial calendar is you break down the year, and the gentleman said it was great to bring in bodies during the slow season, to use Groupon to bring. You have seasons, and there are different things that happen in different months of the year. An editorial calendar is planning out the year in advance. What are the things that are going to be important to our core customers? What are the things that are going to be of interest to people who aren't core customers now, but we'd like to bring them in? What time of year are they going to be looking at that? Like, you know when your league members are going to start looking at sign-up time, right? That's a no-brainer on the editorial calendar. For the 2 months before that, you want to start warming up to it. You want to start bringing it up. You want to start mentioning leagues. You want to start talking about the value of being in leagues, the camaraderie and the competition and the commitment to be there regularly and to get the regular exercise. Talk about things like that in the months leading up to it. You've got school getting out in June. So if you're going to talk about, if you're going to have kids leagues and do things for kids, that means in April and May you're going to start talking about things about young people, youth bowling, that kind of thing. Your editorial calendar is just the natural step-by-step, month-by-month, what are the things that are important to our readers now? And once you've got that calendar, now you set, okay, I'm going to make posts on these dates, these dates, these dates, this is going to be the topic, and then you can start thinking about what am I going to say. They don't have to be 2,000-word articles. They can be 50 words. Blog posts don't have to be a lot. But they have to give some valuable information, and they have to use keywords. You want to make sure When I asked you, searching for drums, what would I be looking for? What would be the keywords that your people would be looking for when they're online so that you will come up when they look for those keywords? There are lots of tools available. To keep it simple, the best place to go for tools, for search terms, for the words that people use, the keywords, Google has all kinds of stuff to help you do that. And it's not terribly difficult if you're computer savvy at all. And if you're not computer savvy at all and you're thinking, I just can't do this stuff, then hire somebody that is. And teach them to do other things too, but you just got to do something that you're out of there. Now, I'm not saying you got to have a blog. That's just one of several things. You can have a blog, you can have a YouTube channel, you can do some free videos. I'm going to show you a couple of Jared's videos. The first one was an old one, and I'm showing it to you just because I want you to see the difference in video and sound quality between the old ones and the new ones. You don't have to be Francis Ford Coppola to have decent videos.
Hey everyone, welcome to the second video in the speed building series that I'm doing. Today we're going to be doing something very simple.
I'd turn the volume up, but I'm afraid to touch it.
Now, if you don't know what the single paradiddle is, it's basically just this. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right. Right, left, right, right, left, right,
Now you can see he's starting with something really basic there. Oops, I didn't want that to play yet. He's starting with something really basic there. It's a basic lesson, but you can see the video quality wasn't very good. The sound quality wasn't very good. This is one of his more recent ones. I mentioned product reviews, comparing, okay, here's 3 different bowling balls, and here's the lowest price ball we have, a medium price ball, our most expensive ball. Why would you choose the most expensive ball? Who's it for? What's the difference? Why is this more expensive than this one? Why can't I just get by with this one? What is the difference between these 3? That's basically what he's doing with this one. This is a product review of a new product. I'm just going to play it and hope it works. See how much better the video quality is, the sound quality? Multiple cameras, multiple angles. Started out really simple. Started out in his basement with 1 camera and 1 microphone, and got enough of those going, got enough traffic going, got enough people coming to his website to start signing up. His video quality went up. And now this guy, he's in the Toronto area, and he's got some of the great drummers in the world fly up to Toronto to do lessons with him. And he always makes them a free lesson. They're always like an hour-and-a-half long free lesson with some of the greatest drummers in the world. And they're coming to him because they want to get in front of his audience. So that's where content can take you. I don't want you to think that you need to commit to doing 1,000 bowling lessons and a whole series. I don't want you to think that you have to do a lot. But the more things that you have out there that are content that would be of interest to your audience, the better the odds are that people are going to find you that would not find you otherwise. There's still regular media. I still love direct mail. By the way, back to direct mail, if you're going to do direct mail, you can buy a list that you can, if you've identified that target customer back to the very beginning, back to who is our core customer, you can buy a mailing list that is, you can describe everything about them, their income level, what kind of work they do, how old they are, whether they have a family, what kind of car they drive. You can ask for anything that you want, and you can get a list of those people. And now you know that you are mailing to a list of people that are real prospects. Everybody that gets that mail is going to be somebody who is a halfway realistic prospect. So let's talk about what do we say in the things that we're going to mail them. I promised my magic formula. I came up with this back in, the 1980s. And it was for print advertising and direct mail advertising, but it still works. It was based on what's called the persuasive sequence. Psychologists came up with some research on how do we get people from this belief to changing their mind to believing this. And it's based on that. It's the same sequence. When I say sequence, it's important that the sequence be stuck to. Sequence means people need to receive the information in this order for it to work. So there's got to be, the first thing that we do is the attention step. The attention step is people are wandering around in a fog. They're not thinking about you. They're not looking about you. This is the interruption marketing I was talking about. Attention is making them stop what they're doing, look at you, and pay attention. The attention step needs to be something about them. Something they would be looking for, something they would want, something that they would need. It's always about them. It's not anything about how wonderful we are, and it's about them 100%. Then the promise is a promise of a benefit. What's going to be better about your life, your world, if you do this? And that's where we get into the exercise, the camaraderie, the competition, that kind of thing. What are the things that are going to be better in your life? Proof is where we show them statistics, square feet, number of lanes, number of video games, all the things that are numbers are usually proof type of things. Proposition is where we say, if you do something right now, you will get extra value. We'll give you something extra. Now pay attention to this, because you're going to look at an ad or a mailer in a minute, and I want you to identify these things. Then the action is, how do I do it? The phone number, the website, the email address, the Facebook page, click here, go to this link, whatever. The action is how they actually connect with us. And if the proposition is good enough, they'll be motivated to connect. By the way, one of the things in content marketing that people are always trying to get people to connect through content marketing. When you go to somebody's website and they ask you to go there to get some free information or some free lesson or something like that, there are two different ways that's handled. A lot of websites have what they call gated information. Gated means you don't get it until you give them your email address. And maybe more. Email address, mailing address, name. The more stuff people have to give you, the less likely it is they're going to continue. And my feeling is, in today's world, information is out there for free. Somebody's going to give it to them for free. Gating the information, I don't think it's necessary. Now, I want to invite them. Do you want to hear from us regularly? We send out weekly specials, weekly news. We can do an RSS feed to our blog. Do you want to hear from us regularly? Invite them and give them the opportunity, but I don't want to make it mandatory before they get the free information that I promised. I want them to get it for free. So, here is here's a postcard. I told you I love postcards. Postcards are simple. They're inexpensive. This is a little postcard that now costs 34 cents to mail. This is one that is going to people who we used to see, but we haven't seen them in a while. Okay? And we're trying to motivate them to come back. So the attention step is, we want you back. We always want it to be about them. We want you back. You're invited. Starting with the word you is the best thing that you can do. You're invited. You're invited to bowl 2 free games at 21st Century Lanes. Bring your family. They'll each get 2 free games too. Bring this card with you. 1 visit anytime between now and September 1. This was a summer promotion to get people coming back during the summer. So this would be the list of your internal list of people who have done business with you before. Remember, the best source of business is people that have already done business with you before. That means everybody that does business with you, you want to find a way to capture their mailing information if you possibly can. Ask them, sign up for our free newsletter. Ask us, sign up for our free mailings that we send out specials on a regular basis. You want to get that kind of information so that you can send them out. By the way, is there a birthday in the family? Tell me your kid's birthday, your wife's birthday, your birthday, and we'll send out a special birthday offer for each one. Now that means that you have to do some database management. That means that you have to be computerized enough to be able to do database management so that these things come up automatically and get mailed. I'm telling you, I have not been to the Expo trade show, but I guarantee you there's somebody there that's got that software for you. Every business needs to keep track of people that are doing business with them and do what they can to bring them back. I mentioned sequence. Oh, by the way, the proposition, different kinds of proposition. Lead generation propositions are things that we're just trying to get them to contact us for the first time. A free sample, free information, total stranger, 1 free line of bowling or 2 free lines of bowling, something like that. Something that gets them to come in for the first time. And then the next level is we're trying to get them to buy something. Groupon is usually a lead generation type of thing. We're trying to get them in for the first time, give them a bargain, and now we've got somebody to engage. This is where we got to get their information, make sure that we're contacting them over and over again and bringing their information back. Then the buyer incentive is now we do things to try to get them back buying again. Coupons, packages, buy one, get some extra value. I love account credit. Guitar Center is a store that I buy some of my musical stuff from. They sent me a survey, and just to say, ask me what was my experience with the store. And for doing the survey, they put a $10 credit on my account. That's $10 sitting there burning a hole in my pocket. I went back and I think I spent $100. But sending an account credit instead of just a coupon that's something off, something that, you got $10 in your account. Come and use it up. And they're going to spend more, and they're going to bring more people. This is the same thing from Sports Authority. Sports Authority is a sporting goods store. $5.50 is your reward from having built up bonus points from having bought things. Then they send it to you, and you've got to use it right away. You don't have a whole lot of time to do it. When they send it to you, they use it right away. I love those credits because it's like money burning a hole in your pocket. You know you got it, and you want to use it. Real quick, in 4 minutes, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about graphic design. Graphic design, for the people who study it in school, is there anybody here that's a graphic designer? I don't want you to be insulted by what I'm about to say. One graphic designer. I don't want you to be insulted by what I'm about to say. But graphic designers go to school hoping to be the next Picasso. And a lot of pieces that I see designed by educated graphic designers are designed to be the next Picasso. The problem is you can't read it. In my opinion, the graphic designer's job, and I don't do consulting anymore, but I used to do a lot of consulting work, and I found a graphic designer that I just love. She works with me for $50 an hour, and she's just dynamite, and I don't know why she works so cheap, but I'm not going to argue with her about it. But I give her, here is my message, here's the words that I want, and here is the sequence in which I want the reader to see them. Because remember I told you that persuasive sequence is based on the sequence. They've got to get the information in that order. If they're jumping around all over the place, they're not going to get it. So I'm going to give you this. Your job is 2-part. Number one, I want the piece to be attractive so the eye is drawn to it. And that can be a website, it can be a postcard, a mailer, a poster, whatever it is that you're putting out there for people to see. I want it to be attractive so people will be drawn to it. But I want it to be clean and simple enough and created so that their eye will be drawn at the beginning of the message, which is my attention step, and their eye will naturally go to the next step, then to the proof, then to the proposition, and boom, it's easy for them to click here or whatever. Distractor and director are the 2 elements of graphic design. Everything in a graphic design either distracts you or directs you. Now you want your piece to be a distractor so that when they're going through their mail, it makes them stop and look at it. But the director is what makes them start here, read this next, read this next, read this next. Now directors can be hierarchy of type. They can be photographs. The very best distractor, by the way, is a photograph. A good photograph, and if it's a distractor, that means it's got to be the attention step. It's got to be at the beginning of the piece. It's got to be at the top of the page or the top of the piece, whatever it is. It's got to be the first thing they see, and then they're going to go from there. When we read a page in America, where do we start? Top left, and then where do we go? We go left to right. top to bottom. That's how we meet. So really a director can just be something that keeps the eye in that normal pattern. So if we're going to use a photo, it will be first because nothing distracts like a good photo. What is a good photo? A good photo is human beings just like the people you want to read this. Back to the very first thing we did, who is the target customer? Who are we talking to? So we want models that are exactly like the people that we're talking to, enjoying the benefit that we're about to promise. So if we're going to talk about if our benefit is going to be, we decided camaraderie. It's not so much about the lane, the ball, anything like that. If it's men's league, then it's 4 guys having a good time sharing a beer. If that's going to be our benefit, that's going to be our key benefit. It's enjoying the benefit that we are promising people, just like our market. Because when we look at things, we are drawn to people just like ourselves. We're drawn to people that are our age, that look like us demographically in every way. We're drawn to those people. Now, I'm going to put up an old ad, and I want everybody to blurt out the first thing that you read in this ad, okay? Everybody ready to blurt? Pick one of the screens and be ready. Here it comes. Now, almost everybody said C, right? So that was the distractor. Now, first of all, the distractor, does that have anything to do with what we're selling? Well, it does sort of, because he's selling eyesight. So he thinks that that's clever, a stop sign with the word C. It's going to grab their eye. But then you say, most people go left to right, top to bottom. A couple of people saw grand opening, which surprises me, because most people don't see that. But most people, they're drawn to this distractor, and then they go left to right from there. So they go see, stop and see us, and then, who knows? You're wandering around lost. Then people start saying all kinds of things. Some people are drawn to the photo first. Either way, we're not getting the information in sequence. So the ad hasn't done anything to engage us and to get us to sell. Now I'm going to show you a makeover of the ad. This is the same ad made over. I want you to tell me the first thing you see on this one. You ready? It's simple. It's clean. It's easy to read. It's a simple graphic design, but you know where to go. Your eye is directed. You know exactly where to go. There's no question. There's no wandering around. And this is a much more likely to get response. And it's got grand opening specials, which they didn't offer in the first place. Step 1, planning. Those 5 building blocks. I'm telling you, that's the most boring thing in the world. And when I started the program, I thought, you know what, people's eyes are going to glaze over and they're going to be falling asleep. But you have got to figure out, where are we going? Put together an editorial calendar for your advertising, no matter what medium you're using. Be seasonally ready for the things that are going to be the promotions that are seasonally coming up, and then you can budget for it so that the money is there. When you create materials, use that magic formula. Grab their attention, promise a benefit, prove you can do it. Give them something that hooks them in and make it easy, fast, and free for them to respond. You bring in more business, take home more money. My wish for everybody coming year. Thanks so much.